Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Oneledger Talks, a podcast series where we take a deep dive into projects that are working closely with Oneledger, as we always say, to change the course of the world. Oneledger is an enterprise blockchain solution that continuously focuses on bridging centralized enterprise technologies to emerging decentralized technologies such as Bitcoin and Ethereum. One of the things that we always do is that we try to bring real-world projects to blockchain. Oneledger provides an SDK and an API to make coding easier than before. And we have the concept of business modules that will allow developers to package sophisticated strategies. Basically, we're creating a general mechanism within the protocol to let blockchains map and transfer digital assets across the Oneledger platform to run, exchange, support cross-chain transactions through sidechains. On the business layer of Oneledger, we offer a solution to bridge the public chains and private chains that would encapsulate Oneledger into small virtual networks based on business modules. The networks support the private transaction inside modules, and then partial broadcasting transactions between modules of public transactions with whole network broadcasting. So in short, we take enterprise, private, put it into a box, and make them all work homogeneously. One of the things that we've done is that we brought one partner on after the next to work with us to continue to build on this whole concept of integrated blockchains, of real-world solutions using blockchain. And today I have the absolute pleasure of inviting Andrea and Ika from Codex to join us today to speak about how their project will make a difference with real-world projects on the Oneledger blockchain. Hello, Ika, and hello, Andrea.
Hi. How are you doing? All good?
All good. Happy to see you again.
Happy to see you again. It's pretty much different time zone, but all good. It's not good morning here, it's good evening.
Well, that's fine. Okay, so one of the things that's happening with the Oneledger strategy, and in fact with the entire world, is that new dApps are being developed every day. And one of the things that will shape, I think, a fundamental difference between old dApps and new dApps is AI technology. What AI does, it brings a high degree of intuition to applications. It brings more information, modularization to platforms. It also brings aggregation of data in a way that we haven't been able to see it before. Okay, so this is new, bold, and exciting. So I'd like you to present yourself and your company to the audience and tell them how you fit into this cycle that I've just iterated.
Sure. I'll just start with me, and if Andrea have some additional comment, he can add later. So, okay. So thank you very much, George, for having us today. It's a very pleasure to be here with you again. And yeah, for those who are not aware of Codex, myself, Amika, co-founders and chief marketing officer of Codex, what we are building is we're building a no-code AI-powered ecosystem for Web3 mass adoption. We aim to make Web3 to be mass adoption by making it easier, cheaper, and faster. It's not about a theory anymore when you can just build your decentralized application within 5 minutes. And when I said 5 minutes, it's literally 5 minutes, even less. Because the way we work is compared to the competitors that we have, what is that they're doing? For example, Third Web or Bubble, they're doing amazing job. However, the approach is different. For example, Third Web, what they're doing is simplifying the smart contract. For example, from writing 88 lines of coding, they're making simplify and making only 7 lines of code. What Bubble's doing, they are doing plug and drop. And what Codex doing is you don't need to code anything. It's only using a form. Just fill in the form like your name, description, the parameter of the your project itself, and just within a few clicks, like 3 or 4, and deploy, and you have it already, including the front end, back end, and smart contract. So that's what we are doing. And speaking of the opportunity itself, when we're speaking about the AI and machine learning by 2025, we are reaching out to 90 billion market cap. And for the low-code/no-code itself in 2024, the opportunity is 12.3 billion market opportunity. So we are tapping into something that has a big opportunity and something that is still new and needed in the market, because a lot of builders, they have great idea, but most likely it's like either they don't have funding to hiring the team, or they don't understand the technical side of it. Because what's the point for you to have great idea, but without direct execution, without knowing the technology of it, you'll never can deliver what you promise. So that's something that we are avoiding. So basically, it's like if you're just going to Codex, you don't need to thinking about building your dApp, which can cost into minimum $2,100 with minimum 6 months of development. You just do it in less than $200 in less than 5 minutes, and that's it. Andrea, you want to add something?
Yeah, maybe one very important point is all the existing solution is for developer. Like a Bubble is simplify the life and it's drag and drop. But if you don't understand about API, how to manage API, it's very complex if you are not a developer. Codex is going to be for no developer people, for mass adoption, meaning everybody without any knowledge can use blockchain, can have a wallet without needing to understand it's a wallet, can be Web2 login with all the security, and they can enjoy and use all these amazing Web3 tools we have right now, but with simple and fast. And of course, it's cheap as well, because if we are speaking about investing only $200 for building application, it's impossible right now. So in the same time, it's a simple and cheaper solution.
Wow. So there's a lot to unpack here. So let me just go back for a minute. So no-code platforms lower the barrier to entry for creating and interacting with the Web3 applications. That's number one. Okay. And number two, no-code tools facilitate quick development, prototyping, etc., of any Web3 applications. All right. And that agility is crucial to being able to roll out your projects a lot faster than you could in the past. Obviously, the first two is going to lead to increased adoption, obviously, because if it's easier, more people will get involved. All right. It focuses on the user experience, you said as well. So traditional development of blockchain, if people are energized and you emphasize the user experience, then the project becomes sort of secondary. The user becomes primary in terms of the only limitation you have is what you can conceptualize. Okay. Essentially, that's what you said as well. Obviously, you got a reduction in development costs. All right. And I think that's it. That's amazing. So someone like me who sits on the edge of code, I can now start to do some work myself. I think that's absolutely amazing. And the market cap potential is also mind-blowing. That's the kind of figures that we like to hear. So,
Indeed,
you sort of said that the Web3, that the no-code tools in Web3 represent a paradigm shift, making blockchain technology more accessible and fostering innovation. And we love it all. Fantastic. Okay. So tell me what challenges. So this is some amazing stuff. And obviously you're not the first one using this. So tell me what sort of challenges exist with no-code applications today in the marketplace.
Okay, sure. I'll answer this from a perspective of mine. So my background is like, I'm only business marketing. I have zero knowledge about tech. I'm not a developer. I'm not an engineer. So from my perspective, from all of the options that exist in the market currently, I personally still cannot using it because it doesn't fit into what I need. For example, like I mentioned earlier, ThirdWeb doing amazing job for developer because they simplified the life of developer. Instead of writing bunch of codes, they make it super easy, only simplify, and you can actually just like copy and paste the code. But even that, you still need to run with Visual Code. You need to, for Windows user, at least you need to install Linux and whatsoever. And for that, I will just avoid it because I don't know anything of that. Okay, I can just, I can just like open my Visual Code Studio, but then what I'm doing with it, like, okay, I'm getting lost there, right? Because I'm not a developer. Or for example, with Bubble, what they're doing is amazing because it's fostering the development, because with plug and drop, you just need to connect with the extension and then they have all of the option. But again, I need to understand API. I need to understand how SDK works.
Right.
I need to understand what I'm going to build, which actually I don't know what I'm going to build. I just have the idea. Like I want to build, for example, NFT marketplace. But first, what do I need? Normally, for developer, we need to create the wireframe and then you add in Figma and then design it, and whatever. That's complex for me. For me to digest something like that, I will never can even understand. And then not to mention about the technology itself, right? The different kind of programming language with which ecosystem I need to go, because all of them offering amazing tools and infrastructure, but not for someone like me. Maybe for someone like Andrea, maybe for someone like you can understand easily, but not for someone like me. So for that reason, I'm creating my own solution so that people like my background can understand Web3 without even understanding it and just using it in a very simple way, because our approach is only using a form like Google form. Put your name, description, the color of your front end, the font of your front end, the parameter of the functionality, and just deploy, pay and deploy. Simple. That's what I want. Make it simple, easy to use, faster.
Wow.
So that's actually the challenge, right? Because all of these tools, what they're doing is amazing, but for a developer, not for someone like I do.
Do you know how many?
I hope that's answering.
Do you know how many schools and colleges you plan to put out of business by doing this?
Actually, a lot. Yeah, a lot. I mean, speaking of university, right? Like in Indonesia, for example, we done a lot of hackathon, and they're implementing blockchain in the school actually. And but for something like, let's say, what the most use it programming language in Web3 is like Solidity. But for student to digest Solidity, it's a lot. It's not like, you know, like you are a pro developer who just can like learn Solidity and read all the contract easily. No, but for them, it digest a lot of time to understand what is Solidity, how do I do this, right? And then not to mention, you need to install this and that. It's complex. No, just for me, it's like hands up. I cannot do this.
Okay. Now,
yeah, and maybe if I
ahead.
can add something very fast. When you start from the final application, student can start with reverse engineering. So from a working product, they can go back and understand what is in the backend. So the learning process can be more fast because you start to have something running. And from something running, you can go and check what is inside. It's like the first time I'm electronic engineering. So I start with open radio and checking what is inside and understanding the component. So from a working product, you open, you check inside, and you understand every component. So with Codex, you start using something, and when you use, you understand the potential. And from that point, you can go and check what is inside and start to learning. And it's more simple the learning process. So can be as well for educational purpose.
Fantastic. I am going to give you 7 areas that are seen as challenges for no-code, for no-code platforms. All right. I want you to just make a note and sort of address each one. Limited customization and flexibility. Don't answer yet. Performance and scalability concerns. Dependency on platform providers. Learning curve and limitations in understanding. Integration issues. Data and management portability. So, sorry, data management and the portability of the information. And then the final one, perception and acceptance. So that's actually it. So I try to address each of those for me. So let's start with limited customization and flexibility. Address that. Address that as an issue.
Sure. So we need to consider for having a no-code application, you need to build a lot of stuff in the background. So you work like in modular way. You create a bunch of templates and you make a combination based in the input you are creating, generating the output. So it's a custom building application based in your need. So basically you are building something fit 100% what you are requiring. So it's more adapted to your requirement than building from zero, because we're using all the existing code and we're assembling a final application based in what is your requirement. So we're offering more flexibility.
Okay. Performance and scalability concerns. Tell me what.
Yes, sure. As well, if your base, normally your base is based in, if you work in an AVM, 100% with Solidity. But because we are combining different chain and different technology, we're offering the possibility to scale your business with Rust security, the scalability of Solidity, the improvement of Move, and so on. So you can combine in one single application different and custom functionality from different ecosystems. So your application have no limit of scalability. For example, if you want to build a full decentralized application, you need to have a decentralized server. And ICP is offering a full decentralized server and all the application is full decentralized. And you can use ICP only for this purpose and building your technology using Solidity smart contract. So you can combine different technology based in your requirement.
Okay. Security risk.
That's a very good question. So about security, we know the standard we need to have in the blockchain. So it's audit and continuing improvement and creating bounty program. For the security himself, or way is creating a proof of contribution where different people can join and contribute. We believe with a different brain working together is more simple to find solution and finding issue and creating a better product than creating only inside team and all this team thinking, oh, my product is best. No, we need to have people from outside who can contribute to testing and improve constantly.
Okay. I didn't think that was a good one because security is a perpetual issue for everyone. So
yeah,
and not just for no code. Integration issues.
Yes. Yeah, I think if we go back to the previous answer, integration with a no-code solution with a different base of code is more simple to be flexible and can be integrated in all the ecosystem in one shot. So no-code solution is more flexible than low-code or no-code solution because a no-code solution is custom for a specific product. A no-code, a high-level solution is more flexible. A low-level solution is more specified for a single product and usage.
Okay. Data management and portability.
Yes, that's interesting, and I think the faster way for scale about this is integrate API and AI. AI can helping to manage data and yeah, I think AI integration can be probably the solution, not only for the no code, but in general about this topic. What do you think, George?
I think that as long as you have the data sitting in the cloud, portability is not an issue. You have access to the data, you can move it to whichever node requires it. So as long as you have your cloud system set up quite well, I don't think the data portability is an issue. Unless the platform that you work on, unless the platform that you work with some way changes the structure of the data. All right, that makes it inaccessible. That's the only challenge. So go ahead to your point.
Yes, what do you think about, because when you speak about data and we are building in blockchain, you think the server side need to be decentralized as well for creating a full decentralized application? We cannot only using Google Cloud or similar solution. We need to have some kind of decentralized server for storage data.
Correct. It depends on the data that you're talking about, because if you're speaking to transactional information, we all know how that is held. So, and it has to be on an Explorer type platform that everyone can have access to it. So I don't think that, I don't see that as being a huge challenge.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, traditional developers may think that no code is a threat. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, Ika, let's go.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, at some point I thought about it, but that's why we are implementing the proof of contribution, where actually we allowing veterans developer to build our infrastructure and get reward for it, because we want everyone benefit from our ecosystem.
Right.
Not just the builder, not just the developer, even as a person like I do, a marketer, and if I like to join in Codex, I can contribute in my own way, which is helping the project to scale the business in a marketing, and then I will get royalty in return from the project. That's how the contribution works. So we are not only limiting that, because compared to the other competitors, if they want to contribute, it has to be like either developer agency or pro developer. But what about like the other people? Because in Web3 it's not just developer. You have a normal user like me, or a marketer, or tokenomic expert, or legal expert. But how to utilize this kind of expertise, and from there, to answering your question with our proof of contribution, we are not just giving a threat for a traditional developer like, oh, you're not going to use my service anymore. Wrong. We can actually collaborate together, and you will get reward in exchange, because every time you help our infrastructure and every time user use it, you will get royalty in exchange. So it's like passive income. Who doesn't like passive income?
I do.
Let me add some point. Codex will have a marketplace where you can find any kind of no-code solution. So a veteran developer can just build no-code solution. They can sell inside the Codex. They can have income in a royalty form, in direct subscription, whatever they prefer. So we are not removing existing job for developer, but we are creating a new way for make profit for developer, converting existing tools to become a no-code solution.
Okay. Fantastic. I think we're all aligned so far. So my next question is very specific. How does the Codex platform ensure a seamless integration with the Oneledger blockchain? And what are the interoperability considerations with the other blockchains? Ika?
Yeah.
This question should be answered by Andrea, as he is the core of the developer.
Back to you.
Oh, okay. I can try to answer in a proper way. So the most important point we are in commune is about taking a real world business inside the blockchain. So leverage blockchain technology to be used in a real world business for increasing and scale the business in the right way. This is the first point and the first mission we can do together. About the interoperability, the point about the no-code allow Oneledger to communicate, to be integrated not only in AVM compatibility, but in all the other chain in the Web3 and the Web2 connection. So basically, that's I think I can already touch all the point, I think.
So we're talking about smart contract compatibility from that respect and API integration. The whole consensus mechanism alignment between the two platforms. I'd like to understand a bit how that works. Oneledger has sidechains, and I assume that through this integration process, Codex will use those sidechains to integrate. And then that is how we'll be able to go out and join other chains. And all of the security protocols, all the scalability and performance issues that we'd have, all the legal and compliance considerations, all those we'll take into consideration. How does a regular investor make any income from this? I don't want to be a developer, and I don't want to build a no-code dApp. I just want to make as much money as I can by investing in altcoins or any other token or project. How do I go about getting any kind of a return on an investment from this project?
It's an interesting question. So basically, it's a target user that don't want to use a Codex solution, but want to understand how people can make money, or where I need to invest when maybe people using Codex solution, creating some application, or I can understand if this can be profitable, I can invest. So maybe one of the key point is to understanding, because one of the most challenging is not only to have a great idea. You can have a great team, great idea, and you don't know if you are you can succeed, because the tech side is very complex. So if you need to evaluate a new project and you are sure the tech is already in place, you already need to focus and your due diligence to the team. If this team is able to do business and marketing. So I have two key points. Normally it's three, but if the tech is already going, you limited your business point of view risk about 30% less, 33% less. So your main focus to understand if my money is have a good return, if these people have a good skill in business and marketing.
Okay, so is there a utility token that you're going to use with the transactions? So I build a dApp and I move, I do transaction A, transaction B, a utility token is required. OLT is going to be that utility token used for all the applications.
So our platform working with three kinds of transactions. So if it's deployment fee, we use stablecoin. If it's transaction fee or gas fee, we can call using the native token. And if it's a royalty, depending which platform we are using, if we take the case of Oneledger, they need to pay the royalty using Oneledger token. So at the same time, using Codex, we are leveraging three factors. One is B2B. So our partner, we use your token, so we create more utility of your token. People need to have Codex for pay the gas fee. And for us, for don't create or making collapse
volatility.
or value, volatility, we prefer to take stablecoin for deployment fee, because we don't need to collect a lot of Codex token for after asking market maker, oh, please selling so I can make profit. So we are creating a balance between Codex, stablecoin, and the partner.
Okay, brilliant. Good. What measures are in place to ensure security of the dApps built on your platform?
Sure. I think we touched it before in your 7/8 point about security.
Right.
Yeah.
We did. Do you want to go into any more detail on that? Is there anything specific that you're doing in terms of security, even though security is a universal issue?
Yeah, we know we know how much is challenging the security. We are making in place the same basic of a lot of projects, audit, bounty program, and co-working for understanding more problem issue.
Right.
We are not a secret formula right now, but we hope the AI can help a lot to finding issue and do some more deep test about the security.
Okay, let's get a bit creative now. So let's stop talking about all the tech and security and integration, and let's just get a bit creative. What kind of dApps do you think the world needs today? Of everything that, other than a dApp that can give us world peace, and another one that can feed everyone, what other kind of dApps do you think the world needs today? Ika, do you want to try your hand at this one?
Yeah. So
okay.
I'm asking to the builders in this case, right? What kind of the app that you need the most? Right now, especially in the bear market, it's very challenging to raise funding.
You're telling
you
us.
can try.
Don't
what
say
is
that.
it? Sorry.
We know that. You don't have to say that twice. We know that.
Exactly. It's very challenging. Even like, for example, if you go to a launchpad, like a proper launchpad, like a DAO or CDFI, even that is very, how to say, they're very picky nowadays. And what they're asking is like, you need to have MVP, you need to have traction, you need to have this and that, you need to have a proper strategic partner, and many more. And however, when we are talking about like pre-revenue startup especially, and you're just like building your project and you don't even have MVP because you don't have the funding to build the MVP, that is very crucial. But that's where we are tapped in, right? Like with Codex, you can have your tech side ready for the MVP to showcase to your investor. And second, you can have right away traction. Because what's the point you build something cool in terms of technology, but you don't know how to scale the business. You don't know how to get customer in a go-to-market strategy. For me, it's like that is useless. So you need to have traction, because from there you can see if people really need your product or no. And to answer the question is like, what kind of the app that actually can help a lot of builders is the crowdfunding. Because then you don't need to asking for venture capital anymore, because it's very, venture capital is like, there's so many secret around and it's very small circle and very difficult to get that, especially if you don't have the right connection. But for example, if you have MVP, you have community because you have traction, just raise the funding with your community using the NoCode the app, because then you don't need to build your own launchpad, because then you can raise it with your own community. It's faster for you. So that's what actually needed the most right now, especially for builders, because our target market are builders. As simple as, for example, you are an influencer, right? You're famous, George is famous, and you wanna release your DAO for your community, right? You go to Codex, you build your own DAO, and then, hey guys, we have our own DAO, and to scale this project, we need at least 50K to go to market, this and that. And from there, your community can actually already using your platform and can deliver the money. Simple, easy peasy, right? So this is the approach that we want to go. I hope it does answer your question.
It does, and you make it sound so easy.
Yeah, because I understand the pain as a builders myself. It's very challenging.
Listen, there are hundreds of projects that start and fail every year. Hundreds.
I understand.
Hundreds. And we've seen a lot come and go during our time. So
yes,
one of the things that you just said actually segues into the next question that I have on my list there. So what are some of the biggest barriers to entry for new creators looking to build the apps? And how does your no-code solution address these challenges? So you just sort of answered that with the answer for the last question as well. So access to capital in particular, and how you go about getting it. So when you build that app, is there anything else you have in mind that you can share with the listeners when they talk about the biggest barriers to entry? I know code obviously is having the tech, having the right team, then having the capital. Those are the three things that we always look at: code, capital, all right, team.
Yes.
Right, because you can't get one without the other, and it goes along. So anything else you want to add to that?
It's just, to me, to answer that, it's like chicken egg situation. Honestly, we don't know which one. No, for real, like what happened with most of the founders is like, because we've been through many incubation and accelerator program. Like previously with WeFund, we had our own incubation and accelerator, and now we are also in a program of incubation and accelerator. And honestly, this is like open conversation, me being transparent and straightforward. 90% of the builders don't know how to build, and it's only single founder don't have team and lack of funding. So how are you going to solve this, right?
That's right.
Because 90% of them don't have right team, because it's either single founder or just two people on board, because they cannot hiring the team, because the funding is still limited, and they're most of the time bootstrapping themselves. Some of founders, they're even selling their cars, selling their houses to support the business.
That's
It's
right.
very challenging for them. Because being entrepreneur is not like flexing, I have Lamborghini, this and that. To me, sounds like scammer. Being a founder is like you're taking a responsibility and you're putting everything, you're saving money and everything to this project, because that's how you believe in your project. You're all in. And it's very difficult to get that support, especially if you're too early. Even now, this accelerator, they don't accept when you're too early, because they're expecting something in return. Because again, accelerator, incubator, they're business. They will asking your token in return or fee to go to this program. And not many founders have that capacity or opportunity to share. So it's very difficult question, which one should they start first, either hiring team or either asking for fund or build everything themselves. I mean, if you are a smart and genius guy and you're a developer, you can build your product and you can showcase and you will get customer who willing to pay you. But if you're not, it's very challenging.
But
Yes, Andrea.
remember one point, Ika.
Yeah.
The most talented developer, they have no business side, they have no skill. So when
I'm
you are
about to add that.
when you are able to build your own technology, what is missing is all the business side normally.
Yes.
In most of the case. So you see, everything.
That's why you need a team.
Yeah, everything.
That's why you need a team.
That's right. Someone who understands business.
Yeah.
And then obviously the marketing side.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. So.
And to make a conclusion about that, about the chicken egg situation, that's why Codex come in, right? For example, you're a single founder, you do not tech, you build on Codex. We help you to scale your production, basically. So you don't need to pay developer, just pay $49 per month or $200 per deploy. That's it. I think it's way cheaper compared to the other competitors that we have. And then so the first thing, the tech is done. You have MVP, because then you can go to market right away, make your traction, showing case that if people actually need this solution or no. I mean, you as a founders. And then from there, you can actually to hiring people. If you don't have money, normally you're offering token in future or equity in future. But even that, if this is a stranger, they need to see your own traction if you actually capable to build something or not, right? But now the case is different, because then you already have the product and they will believe you and they will join in your team. And for that, and the last thing is like you need capital. And if you already have traction, raise with your community.
Right.
Yes.
I love this conversation.
Me too.
I've been doing this for a little while now, and it's always good to sort of come back to the core. Oneledger is now a layer 1 platform. And there are a couple of things that we made sure that we could do in building up a layer 1 platform. One was that we were stable. So 99.999% uptime. Okay. Number 2, speed. As you know, pushing data across the internet, or the longer it lags, the more it costs. So we've been able to build an extremely fast, consistent platform, and that brings our speed down. Oneledger's cost per transaction to any developer is actually 0.6043. And that means that we are $43 per billion transaction. Okay? Which is, in the scheme of things, nothing. All right? So the developers, excuse me, the developers are the ones who make the money. And that's one of the things that we want to make sure happens. So we have a stable, fast network that's able to move transactions across multiple bridges for a price that's a fraction of what the market leaders offer. So the only thing that we need now is that we need more transactions going across our platform. And that's what we spent a lot of time doing. So solutions like this that help startups sandbox their products, push a proof of concept out either to their DAOs, either to the communities, either to VCs, angel investors, etc. This is the perfect platform to do that at a very low cost with very high efficiency rate. And then your product makes it even easier for them to lift that whole program and port it. So I think this is a sort of a match made in heaven for developers who want to get out there. Tell me when you first initiated the conversation with Oneledger. And either you could answer this or both of you could answer this. What sort of outcomes and goals were you looking at? And what do you think now versus where you started and where we are right now? So, Andrea, why don't you go take that one first?
So the last point you touched maybe is one of the most important. Oneledger is very, very cheap. And we want people building easy. So NoCode is building simple and don't need to spend a lot for using blockchain product. These two combination make unstoppable Codex and Oneledger together. Because with $1, how many transactions you can generate? Not billion, but a lot of million. So right. Imagine if you can creating a cheap dApp is not anymore spending thousands of dollars, but only $200. And after your transaction, your usage is like nothing. You can put and estimate your business cost decreasing a lot. So you have more budget for marketing, for hiring the right people, not for only paying expensive developer, but you can pay expensive brain for make a crazy creative marketing in your product. So we are changing the way to building a concept, the concept of the business in blockchain. Now is 80% I need to spend for developer. Maybe they can make me a product. I can start to think of to scale my product. But I don't know until my product don't exist. But in the future, you can using Oneledger for have like similar to no gas fee, okay, is a little bit, and cheap application, and you can only think about business. And why Oneledger business is important? Because taking in consideration Web 2 has a high potential to creating bridge with the Web 3.
Fantastic. Ika, do you want to add anything?
Just to add Andrea's point, right? Like if we want to make Web 3 become mass adoption, then we need to targeting the Web 2 people, make it everything simple, easy to use. You don't need to even mention like, instead of saying, oh, this is wallet, just call it account. simplify even the linguistic itself. It's really important for Web2 people, because if we are only targeting about Web3, although Web3 community is huge, but even bigger the Web2 people, and if we make it everything simple, easy to use, and fast, we can make the mass adoption together. And what I would expecting is like Ledgerian to build as much as creative ideas on chain, so that we can supporting both Oneledger and also Codex together, because that's actually what I want as a founder, to make it both sides happy and all benefit from the ecosystem.
Fantastic. I mean, on the topic of Web3, obviously education and awareness is something that we need to do continuously.
Yes.
Because a lot of people still don't understand what Web3 is versus Web2.
Yes.
In fact, they don't even understand what Web2 is. So that's one thing. So to explain
True.
what is different. One of the things that we have to do is we have to make it easy. We have to make it interruptible. We have to make it inexpensive. All right. But what we're doing here today, continuously educate, share information, be inclusive and accessible. These are the things that then lead to partnerships and collaborations and get mass adoption that we're looking for in the Web3 space. So it's a complex task, but I think we're starting at the right point. And I am so happy that Codex has decided to use Oneledger as the platform of choice in going forward for the launch of this product. And we've had an AMA with our community. Now we have this podcast. The next thing that I want us to do is to offer the community the opportunity to test your product.
Yes.
Let them sandbox it and actually see how it works, what it does, and then come back to us and share those experiences. All right? And we can use that to either augment the product or just go to market in a big way. That's my goal. Andrea?
Yeah. Yes, our plan is to starting to share with the community, taking very important feedback, because we don't want to have a big launch event, but we prefer to go testing, try to change a little bit the product if it's required, because 90% of the time you think your idea is already perfect, but the market rejects it. So it's better spending time to test and changing until your product fits your community and your target market. So we are very open to do a co-testing with your community, taking all the feedback, honest feedback. And if we need to redesign all the no-code application, is not a problem until our vision become real with your vision.
Fantastic. So on that note, I'm going to take closing statements from both of you as we bring this session of Oneledger Talks to an end. Ika, you want to go first?
Actually very much looking forward for you first to try our platform, as we already shared to you. And what do you think about it, the NoCode smart contract? Because the one that we share with you is actually the NoCode smart contract, where it's allow you to from the NoCode smart contract here, we can generate many kind of dApp later on. For example, with DAO itself, because you can create your NoCode voting system. And as well, token generation, because in all of the app you need token generator. And beside of that is if you want to sign like a multi-sign wallet, because it's also have that, and also token minting as well. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward for you first to give the feedback.
Okay, so I'll make a George meme token and see how.
George, I have a question. Maybe we can cut, maybe no. Let's try. Do you think it's possible if people like having a subscription model in Codex specify for Oneledger, we can take care of all the gas fee. So for the user, everything is free to use.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
yeah.
If it's one project that's built to do that, it's Oneledger.
Yeah.
Given the fact that it's
Nice.
$4.30 per 100 million transactions.
That can be amazing.
All
You
right?
subscribe, you use your application, and no gas fee inside Oneledger ecosystem.
None. We can do that. That we can do.
Oh, amazing.
That we can do. Okay. So I want to thank you both for a really enlightening and enjoyable conversation. I am looking forward to testing the application myself, and I will come back and tell you what I think about it.
Awesome.
So, Andrea, Ika, thank you for a wonderful Oneledger talk.
It's our pleasure to be here. It was very nice conversation indeed.
Yeah, George, thank you so much. And yeah, it was amazing conversation. And happy to do again when we have more feedback.
Okay.